Hello and welcome to the launch of F1 22. It's so good that you could come and join us today. My name is Tom Deacon and I will be taking you through all the action for the next couple of hours. We've managed to gather 20 familiar faces, put them in the rigs to battle it out, to be seeing who will be the champion for the first LAN tournament on the brand new game. And what a brand new game it is. There's new tracks, new features. It's incredible. If you don't believe me, take a look at this.
Want to know what it's like? How it feels behind the wheel. On the most exclusive asphalt in the world. 1,000 horsepower at your command. Speed like you've never known. Millimeters between fame and failure. Milliseconds between first and forgotten. Take your seat. Enter the new era. F1 22.
Insane action right there for you. And I'm loving the fact there's a couple of supercars as well. Right, I'm not going to be all by myself. Oh no, I've got fabulous help taking the next couple of hours of commentating under their belt. I've got Chris Buxton, Kieran McGinley. Gentlemen, so good to have you here with me. And I know you're massive fans of the F1 game. Looking forward to it, Chris?
Absolutely, yes. One of the things I'm most looking forward to is virtual reality. It's the first time that VR has been incorporated into the F1 series, and I'm a big VR fan, so really looking forward to that.
The immersive Chris Buxton. That's what I'm going to be calling you from now on. Kieran, working alongside Chris, is he nice to work alongside?
He's a fantastic gentleman to work alongside, so it's a great privilege to be alongside Mr. Buxton himself.
And looking forward to the game as well. You don't have it yet, but you're looking forward to getting it.
Yes, I am. I'm hopefully going to take my team and try and get to the top of the title as a backmarker. So let's see how that goes. Let's see how long it takes me first.
Okay, a bit of a quiz game there. Let's find out who Kieran's team is throughout the day. So an exciting day of action. We've got it all heading this way. We have got 10 F1 game influencers and we've got 10 FIFA esports players. There are 2 heats of 10 drivers. Top 5 drivers from each heat qualify for the final. All races at Silverstone, and it's a 25% race distance. And I can see the Heat A lineup. Oh, look at that. What I first of all noticed, some people were last minute sending their PR photos, as we can see there from Arava. That is a man enjoying his racing day out. But a brilliant lineup of talent. Have you commentated and seen any of these guys drive, Chris?
I've commentated with Jess before now, but not about Jess in the past. But several names that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Alex Gillen has been in the F1 scene for almost longer than there's been an esports scene in existence. So, you know, looking forward to seeing what he can do. Hayden Gillis has done many a thing on and off track. And Tim at Marduk as well, Ben Daly, very much looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing what they all can do. But I must also mention that Brake had the most intense practice phase I've ever seen during the practices. So if his driving is as intense as his practice phase was, that's going to be one to watch.
All right, look out for that. And Hayden Gullis there holding on to a tyre. Maybe that's potentially George Russell's from the weekend. Right, let's have a look then at the FIFA guys here. And this is a star-studded lineup. I'm loving Chesnoy Gaming there, a Cambridge fan at Newcastle. And I know that very well as a Southampton fan, being up in the gods. It's proper nosebleed territory. I will say this though, unless they've played a lot of the F1 game, they're at a disadvantage already, aren't they, Chris?
Potentially, but you've got to remember that this is a brand new game that's been released, so there's going to be changes from the previous platform, handling, subtleties in how the car behaves, things like the tyre model. There's lots of things that will bring the experienced players probably down a little bit, but that doesn't mean that the FIFA players aren't going to get up to speed very, very quickly. And I love the fact that AJ3's got his dog here. I'm a big dog fan, so that's a plus for me straight away.
Kieran, I'm also seeing FG there is already in a throne, almost like he is the champion. Kieran, are you looking forward to the action from these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be some dark horses in here for sure. I'm looking at Pieface, definitely going to be one to watch. Bateson as well. Definitely those looking to get themselves into that top 5 in Heat B. Let's just see how it all pans out.
Oh, I can't wait to get these guys in the rigs and get racing. All right then, let's have a look at what's happening in terms of the schedule. At 7:05, we will have Heat A, that's the F1 guys. Then we'll have at 7:45 Heat B, the FIFA guys. And then the top 5 will go head to head in the grand final. If there was anybody to sort of pinpoint now, gentlemen, is there anyone who stands out for you that might be taking the coveted prize?
Very, very hard to say at this point. There's a few names, like I mentioned, from the F1 lineup that we've seen before. I reckon we're in for some real surprises from the FIFA players. I think, you know, Pieface we've mentioned as well. But,
Don't you sit on the fence, Chris Buxton. Do not sit on the fence.
How dare you? If I was to pick a name out of the hat, I'm going to go a little bit possibly against controversy. I'm going to go Tim McMurdoch. I'm going to go Ben Daly.
Wow. Before we went on air, he said Tim McMurdoch was a bottle job. So let's go and have a look at him. He's down there, a fantastic driver. He's actually in rig 9, all the way at the other end. He's sort of getting ready, lining himself up. He's worked with McLaren Esports. I mean, if there's anyone that felt a bit of pressure on his shoulder, look at him. He is in the zone. Oh, a cheeky wave for the fans. Love that. Next to him, you will see the serious concentrating face from Break. That is the guy just to the right of Tim McMurdoch. In pod 10. Oh, peace. Someone's been to Japan. Okay, and back up this way. Now, something I did notice for those at home who aren't used to the F1 is drivers will take their shoes off. That is Hayden Gullis there, right there. A very tall man. And with the shoes, it just helps us without the heels on. He is able to be a little bit shorter. But that is why. Why is he taking his shoes off, Kieran?
Well, I assume it's to get a closer feel to the pedals. There's no excuses for, get shoes getting in the way, anything like that. So I guess that's the only excuse, but I guess Hayden will keep those reasons to himself. And
we also, next to Hayden, have one half of Angry Gamers. And I can just actually quantify and qualify that is the better half there. So here we go then. We have got another 5 drivers on the other side to my right on this amazing stage, getting ready to get underway. But let's have a quick look at what happened in qualifying. Wow, Alex Gillen, take a bow. He must have had an absolute stormer in the one-shot qualifying. He is your pole driver for our first race. Hayden Gullis is in second, Tim McMurdoch in third, Dirk Chocolate fourth. The usual names that we're expecting to be pretty high up. Tommy T, 999, an emergency race for him, gets him so far in a qualifying position. And I see down there in ninth, Arava. What's happened to him and Matt 212? But however, I will tell you this, do not write them off. There is always a chance for them to get into the qualification top 5 spots. But I tell you what, this sets us up perfectly for our first race. Over to the 2 dynamic duo of Chris Buxton and Kieran McGinley with your race.
Thank you, Tom, and what a great qualifying session. We've had Alex Gillen and Hayden Gills from the front row. And we are underway now. Who is going to have the greatest start? Already we're seeing people off onto the dust as Matt 212 getting a little bit too lively, starting from the back row from having invalidated his lap during qualifying. Alex, what a great start. Trouble then for Jess as she's fallen down to the tail end of the field. But coming through the first few turns, now heading through towards Aintree. For the rest of the field, it looks like so far so good.
What a start from Dirk Chocolate. He's got himself now up into second place, getting himself ahead of Hayden Gullis as we now make our way onwards then towards the flying left-hander. And Alex Gillen is trying to absolutely fly away with this one now. He got it onto pole position and now he looks set to try and break that DRS zone already.
Absolutely so, yeah. Dirk Chocolate storming effort there. We didn't mention him too much in the pre-show, but he's having a great effort fending off the advances of the shoeless Hayden Gillis. Now, Tim McMurdoch, Ben Daly in fourth, Arava as well, another familiar name in the F1 world, in fifth position. As a reminder, it's the top 5 from this race that go through to the grand final race to see off the 5 best of the FIFA players that we will see later on.
And an important moment for Arava because he invalidated his qualifying lap. He's now up into the top 5 and well and truly in this battle for second place. 4 of them now making their way up towards Stowe Corner with Hayden looking for a move around the outside. Not just yet, mind, but they get back onto the power now and making their way through in towards Vale and then in towards the club corner section. Gullis looking for a move around the outside in towards the entry, gives him the inside line for the club corner section. Did he get that move done? I think he did, you know, making his way around the final corner, but Dirk Chocolate's got his nose back ahead and using that car then as he makes his way on towards turn 1. Dirk's back ahead.
What a move. He's not afraid to get the elbows out as Hayden Gillis gives him a bit of a nudge trying to get back through into second position. Arava has now gone ahead of Ben Daly as well. As you can see, all arguing coming through towards Aintree. Now, who's going to come out? Oh, it's a shame for Angry Gamers. He's had to bring that one into the pits. A great shame there. And already Arava, a 3-second time penalty. You've only on lap 2, sir. It's not a score. 3 wide coming down into Brooklands. Absolutely fantastic stuff. You don't necessarily need to be esports quality to give us great racing. Fantastic.
Absolutely, all in a battle for second place. It looks like Dirk has just got himself ahead, and then it's Arava and Hayden Gullis now into 4th place. And, well, I have to say, TMF Marduk has just got front row tickets for this 3 wide moment, then going in towards Cops Corner. Surely that's not going to end well. Somehow it has, and Arava and all of that has now put himself up into 2nd place. Hayden's now down to 5th place. I can't call this battle one way or the other as they make their way through now in towards Maggots and Beckett's. There's only 3 cars that have come through. What on earth has happened to Arava?
Well, yeah, the 5 went in and only 4 have reappeared. That puts Matt 212, who spun in the early part of the race, now up into 5th position, but he's been chased by Tommy Team Treble 9. So we didn't see what happened to Arava, but there is still time for him to recover, although he's now down into 9th position as he decided to stop and spectate the rest of the race. We don't know. Now on board with Hayden Gillis trying to nudge Dirk Chocolate again. It's not a contact sport, sir. You can't just nudge your opponents. But either way, bearing in mind this is all about fun and enjoyment, and certainly our drivers are having a great time. We certainly are up here in the commentary box, and we hope that you guys watching along are enjoying it as much as we are.
I mean, 3 wide into Cop pretty much sums up that entire experience so far. But what that's done is here comes Hayden, then he has to go round the outside then as we head in towards the loop. He might get the power down earlier, get the better run then as we head our way through Aintree and on towards the Wellington Straight. Look at the pace that Hayden's got then, and using that momentum to his advantage. DRS, of course, online, helping him with that move. Hayden now moves himself up into 3rd place. And what that's doing then as well is Alex Gillen now nearly 5 seconds clear of TMF Marduk at this point.
Alex Gillen has checked out in the Ferrari. He's decided that he's going to leave everybody else to the fighting, and what fighting they are giving us. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Dirk Chocolate still has Hayden Gillis in his sights. Jess Gaines, we've just seen in the tower, has moved up into 7th ahead of Break. So she's recovering from a pretty rough start. Arava has been in the pits for a while. He's probably having an ice cream. He's doing Kimi Räikkönen at this point. But still watching Hayden Gillis now coming through Maggots and Beckett's, heading towards Chapel, trying to chase off after Alex Gillen, which is no easy thing to do. And Ben Daly, whilst all this is going on, is hung on to 2nd position now to try and close in on that nearly 5-second gap up front. Dirk Chocolate again staying in the tyre tracks of Hayden Gillis coming into Stowe. Absolutely great stuff, and as we say, bear in mind these are F1 content creators, not necessarily those that are used to very strong competition like this, and they are giving us a fantastic show. Alex Gillen, another fastest lap on the board.
Yeah, Hayden there trying to break that DRS from Dirk, but Dirk is just lurking there in that DRS zone within a second, of course, which allows him there, but a few time penalties coming through, and definitely Farm being a farm for those track limit warnings, and then subsequently those penalties after all.
You couldn't help it, could you?
I really couldn't.
In there. Dirk Chocolate's just given himself a 3-second penalty, but that just goes to show how easy it is. Now, the track limits warnings are on strict, so it doesn't take too much to get one of those track limit warnings. Now, Alex Gillen, you can see he's got the red marked tyres. That's the softer compound that he's running on the Ferrari. They're not going to last to the end of the race. He will have to come in and get those changed to mediums. Now, that is helping him build that gap. Quite a number of runners behind him are on the medium compound, so it's a little bit slower, takes a bit longer to get up and running. So yeah, these tyre changes are going to have to happen. A couple of people towards the back, Arava and two Angry Gamers, have already done their stops as well. So bear that in mind. The fact that Alex is running off with it at the moment doesn't necessarily mean it'll stay that way. He's doing a fantastic job of continuing to build that lead. just seeing in the back range, that was actually Dirk Chocolate, who just saw at the top of the shot, still staying within a second of Hayden Gillis, who is still hanging on to the back of Tim Abada. There is the tyre allocation, so that's what people have gone for to start this race. As I say, a couple of people have changed their tyres already so far in this race.
Yeah, they have. Arava went on from the soft tyres to the medium, so now he'll try and go to the end of the race on those set of boots. Meanwhile then, Alex has really got to make use of these soft tyres, which he's doing, nearly 5.5 seconds up the road from Tiamat Marduk as we watch Dirk Chocolate make his way now up towards turn 1 for the very next time. He's just fallen out of DRS range from Hayden, but Hayden has pulled himself into DRS range of Tiamat Marduk.
These two have crossed swords quite a number of times in the past, and they're looking to do so again. And look at the concentration on Dirk Chocolate's face. Yes, this is an exhibition race. Yes, it is for fun. But come on, I defy any of these drivers to say they're not going to give it their all and try and put on not only just a great show for us, but really do what they can to score as well. As a few people were, shall we say, less than optimistic about how well they were going to score, but they're racers. Come on, let's face it, they are still going to push hard and try and get towards the top of the field. But from the fighting that we saw early on, and these same three, Derek Daly, Hayden Gillis and Dirk Chocolate are still all in sight of one another. So we could well see that battle reform again, especially towards the tail end of the race when all the stops are done.
Goes then. No shoes are clearly the way to go because he's really closing on Tiamat Marduk now. The gap's now just over 0.8 of a second as he makes his way now down the hanger straight with that DRS wide open. That's only going to help him close the gap to Ben up ahead as they now make their way on towards Stowe Corner. There you can see Dirk Chocolate in the background there, just about 2 seconds away from Hayden. But if these two can start battling, that's going to bring Dirk straight back into the action.
Absolutely, and with Tommy now up into that crucial top 5, he's not got any challenge from behind from Brake. You can see the gap there, it's 14 seconds between Tommy and Brake, so Tommy doesn't have to defend from anybody at this particular stage. Hayden Gillis, as you can see, as you've been saying, Kieran, has been closing in slowly but surely on Tiamat Marduk as we now head towards, just over the halfway stage in this race, and there's another 3-second penalty. Again, that's not drivers being careless, it's just a narrow extension or somewhere that these drivers don't. That's the difference between a bad line and a very good line. It's mere pixels difference. Brake is actually coming into the pits as well to get his pit stop done. So can Hayden Gillis close in on Tiamat Marduk to challenge for a potential podium position? You can argue at this stage it's just for bragging rights. They're in that top 5 qualifying position. However, if they make a mistake or they come together, they're going to have to then try and get back into that crucial position. So they can't just rest on their laurels at this point. And with the history of these two, I doubt they're going to relax. I reckon we're in for a great scrap for currently 2nd position.
Absolutely, but what this means is then the gap between Tiamat Marduk and Alex Gillen has sort of stabilised just under 5 seconds now, which sort of implies that the soft tyres that Alex is using might be coming to the end of their usable life. It might be worth him trying to look for a tyre change. Meanwhile, here goes Hayden then going round the outside on the entrance in towards Stowe with that DRS and getting in the move done just before that braking zone. So Hayden moving himself now up into P2. Tiamat Marduk in 3rd place, but here comes Hayden coming into the pits, barrelling his way in.
Yeah, so they don't have to get down to pit lane speed limit before they hit the line. That's because of the nature of the field that we've got here. Some allowances, shall we say. Some assists are allowed, and the pit lane entry is one of them. So Alex Gillen has continued, Ben Daly has continued, and Hayden is in, Tommy is in. Dirk has continued as well, so they don't have to come in. But I would imagine that Alex is going to be really struggling on those soft tyres. They would have got to the end of their usefulness by this point. There's just no one else in the shot. Oh, there we go. There's somebody. As there is Tiamat Marduk, there is Ben Daly, and trying to close him down. But he'll have to be coming into the pits pretty soon, I would think. And another penalty for Arava. He's collecting them like sweets at the moment.
He is at the moment, which is not great when you want to try and put yourself into the top 5. Matt 212, meanwhile, 29.4, our new fastest lap of the race. He finds himself into the top 5 as Tommy T 999 into the pit lane as well. There you can see 2 angry gamers. It's been a tough day so far for 2 angry gamers, or at least 1 angry gamer, that is for sure. Tommy Rage behind the wheel there and looking to just try and make his way to the end. And you never know, with 6 laps to go, 5 and a bit if you're picky, you just never know what's going to happen in races like these.
That's the thing, although he has opted for the harder tyres, I suspect was probably a bit of a mistake. You wouldn't need to run the hard tyres only in a 25% race, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's out of the running. Okay, he's some distance behind. He has got some of the leaders coming past him to lap him. However, as Alex Gillen gets himself a speeding in the pit lane penalty, a little surprising. I thought he would actually be slowed down by the game for that one. Either way, at the moment that wouldn't actually make a difference because he was more than 5 seconds ahead of the next car down the road. But yeah, two angry gamers can still get back involved in this race. A few other people ahead of him have incidents, and again, we've seen a few interesting three-wide moments already in this race. If they came to grief, he could well still capitalise on that. So it's still worth him pressing on and seeing what he can do.
Yeah, it's not about where you finish in the top 5, it's that you finish in the top 5. That's all that matters at this stage, in this first heat of today. And we see then two angry gamers being closed in by I think that's our race leader in Dirk Chocolate. But of course, blue flags will be up and away. There comes Alex Gillen then making his way out of the pit lane onto the medium tyres. So it's a very aggressive strategy that Alex has gone for. To try and make the most out of these tyres. Soft tyres all the way up to lap 7, now to the medium series. So he won't have to worry about tyre wear whatsoever. But clearly he felt that the race pace were in the softs.
Indeed, indeed. And he's got that 5-second penalty on the board as well. So he's going to have to rebuild that gap back to Hayden Gillis, and you know that Hayden's not going to let that one go. And Tim Marduk is in that gap as well. So Alex Gillen, whilst not necessarily in threat of falling outside of the top 5, may not necessarily stand on the top step of the podium. We will see. But I mean, Hayden's not even waiting for the penalties to kick in. He is going for the move, or he looks like he's going to shape up for the move already. Then you've got Tim Marduk in the background. But Hayden Gillis is on those soft tyres, you can see from the tyre graphic there. So he's got a tyre advantage, and he is really raring to go. Those tyres are very much up to operating temperature. Out of Maggins and Beckett's into Chapel. This is likely to be a fairly straightforward move, and Alex doesn't even defend that one. That's how strong the DRS is, and that is second, and potential race lead for when Dirk Chocolate comes in for Hayden Gillis.
Yeah, it's done a sublime job so far, and of course no penalties next to his name either. That's an even better job from Hayden as he makes his way in towards this club corner section, making your way now round the final corners and on towards the Hamilton Straight. We then start another lap here at Silverstone, and it's a good performance so far. Let's see how he can keep up this pace. 20 seconds between himself and Dirk Chocolate. Well, that's, as you say, that's going to be the race lead handed over to Hayden once Dirk pits in.
Very true. Coming through first sector, heading towards Aintree. Alex Gillen is just about hanging on to DRS Raceway. He's not going to hang on to that for too long. With the remaining laps, those medium tyres aren't realistically going to come up to full operational, into the full operational window with the remaining laps. So, yeah, I can't see Alex being able to overcome this one, but stranger things have happened. There is the McLaren, Tim McMurdoch. He's 1.3 behind Alex Gillen at the moment, so closing in on the Ferrari, former race leader. And Matt 212 is only 3 seconds behind. So if these three start fighting again, and there is Matt actually at the top of the shot. So you can see he could easily get involved. Whilst his tyres are a little bit older, at this point in the race, that's not going to make too much of a difference. Towards when the checkered flags are going to come out, yes, Matt will struggle a little bit more than these. But at this point, he could easily close in and challenge for higher up in the top 5. But as I've already said, doesn't need to be any higher in the top 5 to qualify. There's another one for Arava. Yep, he's definitely going for a high score on this one.
He is. He's going for it at least, but yeah, not the great day he would have wanted. Tim Marduk, meanwhile, closing in to Alex Gillen bit by bit, of course, with that tyre advantage. And, well, Alex may have been leading the way early on, but I think he's not so fussed about, you know, defending positions here and there. He knows he's got a little bit of a penalty. He doesn't want to be battling and expose himself an opportunity to go outside of the top 5. That's the most important part here. These drivers are going to have to sort of throw caution to the wind not so often, because the top 5 is all that matters. It doesn't matter where you finish there.
Very, very true. Now, Dirk is going much longer than everyone else has on these tyres. Hopefully he realises he does have to pit and get rid of those mediums. But still leads the way at the moment. There is Tim Marduk in the picture-in-picture, currently in 4th position, closing in on Alex Gillen. We have got a battle brewing.
Look at that face of determination from Ben Daly. He's absolutely on it. A little bit of a kick of oversteer coming out of Luffield, but as he makes his way now on towards Copse, he is firmly set on that P3 of Alex Gillen up ahead.
Yeah, lips curled in as well, so that's true concentration going on there for the Australian. But pressing on then, it's now the McLaren getting into the sparks of the Ferrari coming through Maggins and Beckett's. Nothing much he can do here, but DRS is going to try and help at least the McLaren, but of course Alex Gillen is going to get DRS off the back of Hayden. And in comes Dirk Chocolate then, so the lead is going to hand over there, looking back from the Ferrari of Alex Gillen. DRS wide open. And no gain on Hayden, but Tim McMurdoch was able to close in a little bit, still getting face full of sparks off the back of the prancing horse. into the Vale chicane then for this time around, and then we will be starting lap 11 for these guys. They now come through. Soft tyres on the car for Dirk Chocolate as well. Oh, it's a definite fight. Hayden is now properly into the lead with, he's almost broken DRS back to Alex Gillen, but Alex now is he going to defend, or like you say, Kieran, is he just going to let the McLaren through? My goodness me, lovely move there from Tim Marduk on the outside line, softer tyres on the board. I think he was fairly confident that Alex wasn't going to defend that one too hard, but that does mean in our final later on, if we do see Alex through to that, he's not going to be so lenient, I suspect, with his defence.
I think you've got a point there, Mr. Buxton. I think he's going to be a little bit more robust in his defending, but right now you're absolutely right. All he's focusing on is booking that place into the top 5, and with that penalty as well, leaves him a little bit vulnerable towards the end of the race. Dirk has rejoined me while in 5th place on those soft tyres. He'll be looking to just hot lap his way to book his place into the top 5 with those penalties at his side.
Maggins and Beckett's calling again. 1, 2, 3. Aston Martin, McLaren and Ferrari, Gillis and Tim Marduk and Gillen all pressing their way through. Now, I would imagine Alex is going to struggle now to maintain the pace of the top 2. Now, are they going to fight? You bet they are. They fought on the first half of the lap, of the race rather, and they are going to continue to do so. Whilst they were both kind of underestimating their performances in today's race, now that they're kind of facing each other, with these two, they are going to fight for top honours. One wants to beat the other. Most absolutely true. Don't believe that they say, oh, I'm here for the fun of it. Yeah, I'm sure you are. However, you've got the opportunity to win the race. You're going to go for it. Come on. You're not conning anybody with that one. And at the moment, that is with the shoeless Hayden Gillen.
Yeah, it's all fun and games, but once those lights go out, that's it.
Oh, like so. Goodness me, a little bit too close there from Ben Daly on the outside line of Aintree. He's shoved wide. Well, that's eye for an eye there. The McLaren touched the Aston Martin and then the favour was returned. Now that brings a Ferrari in. Big move on the inside of Brooklands. Can he get it done though, side by side? But that's going to give the inside line back to the McLaren. And Alex Gillen's going to have to settle back into third position for the time being. And, fair play to Alex Gillen, not giving up on the opportunity to attack for that second position, but that penalty is ultimately going to undo that for the time being. But what a great race they're putting on for us.
Yeah, and that battling between Hayden and Tim Marduk has brought Alex Gillen right back into this. Yes, he's got that penalty, but if he just has that front row seat, anything could happen between those two. We've already seen Ben try and move up the inside in towards the loop, a very interesting place to try and make a move stick, meanwhile. But with that DRS, here comes Ben Daly then. Is he going to look for a move up the inside in towards So? He might try a late move. No, he tucks back in and is able to follow Hayden all the way through. Now as we make our way through Vale and towards the club corner section, this race has absolutely flown by, Chris, because here comes the final lap.
Oh, bit of a kick of the tail there from the McLaren. He's going to lose time against Gillis, and that's going to throw him back into the clutches of Alex Gillen. Final lap has begun then for the top 3. So Matt 212 and Dirk Chocolate rounding out the top 5 at the moment. Anything could still happen though. Somebody could still encounter difficulties. It's not all done yet, but a 3-way fight for the win. Yes, please, let's have some of this.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens in this shorter DRS zone as we head our way down the Wellington Straight and making our way towards the fast left-hander. And this is a chance for Ben to close in on that gap before we make our way towards Stowe Corner. It's all going to be about making sure that you can stay within that DRS as quickly as possible and as long as possible as well, to make the move as late as possible, as late as you pretty much dare.
Yeah, absolutely so. Through towards Cops. This is one of the most difficult places to stay within track limits when you're pushing as hard as you are, but these three showing exactly how it's done. Maggins and Beckett for the final time in this race. Is it going to be Gillis? Is it going to be Daly? Gillen can only really look on. He's not going to quite undo the 5-second gap. It looks like Nat 212 may well inherit the final podium position, but that's not going to stop them pushing anyway up into Stowe. Now, who is going to win out in this time? Are we going to have a big move into Vale? Oh, it's going to be close, but it looks like Tom Daly's going to have to fend off the advances of Alex Gillen on the inside line, coming into the Vale chicane, but not coming off. Your winner for the first race is the Aston Martin of Hayden Gillis. Second on the road is Ben Daly. Alex Gillen rounds out the podium on the road at least, but with penalties that is going to change slightly. And And yeah, there we go. You can see Matt212 then did indeed inherit that third position due to penalties. And it does look like the fifth place has gone to Dirk Chocolate. Fantastic effort from our top five. Commiserations to the second half of the field.
Absolutely brilliant race there, especially at the start where we're trying to go 3 wide going in towards Stowe. It was absolutely, into Cops I should say, it's absolutely fantastic to watch. More of that, please.
Yes, indeed. And we get to do this all over again with our FIFA drivers all coming up. So with the race then complete, just waiting for the last drivers to come over the line, we will then hand it back over to Tom to have a chat with our race winner. But yeah, that was thoroughly enjoyable. Commiserations to the bottom five, as said, but they gave it their all, and what an entertaining race we have had.
That was absolutely brilliant. And the great thing is we've got 2 more. We've got 2 more, Chris.
Yes, cannot wait. So with the race complete, let's hand back over to Tom Deacon.
Fantastic commentating from Kieran and Chris. Yes, I will chat to the race winner in just a second. Before that, though, I want to pass on some commiserations to a guy that I thought was going to be up in the top 5 at least. However, what on earth happened? There was a crash. At one point, Chris said you were picking up penalties like sweets. It was a bit of a mix-up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was going really well on lap 1, actually. You know, little battle with Dirk, you know, Hayden, Alex. It was, you know, it was like a nice reunion for the YouTube lads. And then, as usual, that reunion ended very sourly with myself and Ben. I think it was 3 wide into Baggett to Beckett's. I thought that was never going to end well. Didn't end well for me. In the middle, sandwich in between. What can you do? At least I got to do some donuts at the end for the fans, you know. So.
Yeah, I'm still picking up those donut fumes.
Yeah.
It looked like there was a pit opportunity for you to sort of get back into it, and you just picked up more penalties. What was going on today? What was going through your head? Was it the pressure on stage, live?
Yeah,
what was going on?
Yeah. You know, it really gets you. The lights, you know, they're all in your face. It gets you. You know, it's a hard life being an F1 driver. So props to them for delivering on the day, because I certainly can't.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of your biggest fans, but I know now what you'll be able to do, however, is you'll be able to continue your F1 2022 career mode. So that's ideal.
Exactly. Out tonight, later, after this stream.
Let me just take you guys over to Dirk Chocolate. And what a convincing late strategy to pit.
Yeah.
You had some confidence in you, Dirk. Talk me through your race today.
Well, I knew I was a bit slower than the other guys at the top, so I thought, you know what, let's get a cracking start, get the elbows up, put on a good show. And then once I got in the rhythm, I was like, there's no point pitting to cold tyres, so why not just crack on until as late as possible?
Yeah, I mean, quieten down, fans of Dirk. Dirk, what about going into the grand final then? Because you're in the top 5, you're going to have to come up with a different strategy. How confident do you feel?
Not as confident as I want to be, but as long as I beat Pie Face, that's all it is, because he beat me last year, and I need to get my ego just a little bit back from his boost.
Yeah, all right. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to that. Let's confirm those race results. And here they are. So, to confirm, your winner is Hayden Gullis. Second place is Team McMurdo. Oh, it was a proper battle. Elbows were out. Matt212 finished in 3rd. Here we go into the grand final. So will Alex Gillen, led for much of the race. So we'll see what he can do in the final. And finally, Dirk Chocolate, rounding out your top 5 drivers. Congratulations to everyone else who took part, but sadly, we will say goodbye to them. Right then, let's welcome to the centre of the stage is Hayden Gullis. Yes! There's a few round of applause. Everyone was loving. Yes, GG's to you. Come and stand just next to me, Hayden. What a race. Chris, Kieran, big fans of your performance today. What did you think of it?
It was all right. It was just calm and collected, wasn't it? You know, no, Ben made me sweat so much at the end. Gave me a little tap in the rear, sent me round, and then tried to go round the outside. I was like, I'm not having that, so I just pushed him off the track at that point.
Yeah, definitely elbows are out. Is he the one to watch in the grand final then?
I think so, but I think also don't count out Alex as well. I think, and even Matt, he was disqualified in qualifying, had to come from the back. So I reckon there's a sorry, Dirk, to leave you out, but you know, you're at the bottom of the field, mate.
Wow. Okay, I like that bit of fighting. All he wants to do is to beat Pie Face.
Yeah,
Let
exactly.
him have
So
that,
he
Hayden.
He can fight for 9.
There was a lot of key moments in it, and I don't believe you actually had a penalty, so congratulations on that. Very clean racing. We're seeing the start here. He started in 2nd, dropped down a bit. Let's not look at it and focus at the negatives, but coming round to first couple of corners, you began to pick it back up again. What was your tactics going into this race?
I think just keep it, you know, calm. Like in this scenario, when it was me, Arav, Ben, Dirk, all fighting. I saw this and I just backed off. I braked very early into this corner because I could see that it was happening all day long, and you know, I found it very funny at the same time. Sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, he is spitting feathers. He was furious about it, but once you've had that sort of bit of a disappointment, you have to sort of pick yourself up again. So you were patient. That's what.
Yeah, just patient. I didn't expect the race win, and then you know I was happy with the strategy that I was on. I knew Ben was quick, but I just seemed to have him on the exits every single time, apart from that little one where he gave me the little nudge, so I just gave it back to him. But other than that, I thought, you know, I'm looking forward going into the final.
Yeah, now Chris Buxton referred to you as Hayden Gillis, and I kept thinking about gills, and I have to say, your performance to me was like a fish to water. With those gills, you were just, it seems like you've been practicing and playing on the game for a little while. Have you been able to play F1 22?
I have played it a bit, in all fairness, but I haven't played it in the recent weekends, so I've had a little time off. But maybe that's what made me better today, is that, you know, had a little break, refreshed myself, come into it, and somehow I got a race win, so I'm happy.
Now, Pieface, is he the person from that FIFA group? We've got Heat B coming up very shortly. Is he the person to look out for?
I think he's one of them. I think Chesnoid as well, Bateson, 3 people that I know who play F1 on stream. So I reckon the 3 of them are going to be very quick, but I'm sure there's going to be a few surprises as well.
Okay, well, I'll let you put your shoes back on. Congratulations to Chris and Kieran as well. Right, let's have a confirmation of Heat B. All right then, this is what Heat B looks like. These are our FIFA content makers. Bateson, 87 in number 1 seat. Pieface, 23. Chesnoid Gaming, Curbs, Footwiz Dan, Lisa Manley, J Denham 9, FG, FIFA Analyst, and AJ3. Now, what I have noticed, Chris, when I look at this lineup of Heat B, a lot of smiley faces. The smiley faces stand out to me. That says, in my mind, confident. And yet, at the same time, I see Curbs, I see full sort of lockdown. He is well in the game, in the zone.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of focus there, but equally, I want to point out that FIFA Analyst is very focused on AJ3's dog.
Yes.
There's a longing look there.
Yeah,
as well.
and quite rightly, what a lovely dog it is. Kieran, we don't know much about the skill level of these drivers, but what we did learn is that Dirk Chocolate does not want to be beaten by Pieface again. I love a little bit of a rivalry before a grand final.
It's great. It would really set up the final, true and proper, to see that rivalry come to full force once again. That's why Pieface, for me, is going to be one of those to really watch in this Heat B. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Now, some of our contestants, I want to call them that. Yeah, let's stick with that. Contestants will be having a pad rather than the wheel. What's the difference? How difficult is it to be on the pad rather than the wheel?
Well, I guess on a wheel you can be much more precise, whereas on a pad you've got to make sure your controls are basically as smooth as possible. It's tougher to do that. However, you know, that's going to be a challenge that these guys are going to have to make sure they get on top of as quickly as possible.
Now, a man that has changed from way back when, always on the pad, now I'm probably on the wheel, is Pieface, 23. I'm assuming the 23 is maybe a Beckham reference, maybe not Michael Jordan, but if anyone's going to slam dunk this race, that's Pieface, who is, again, like Curbs, very much in the zone. I chatted to Curbs. It took him an hour to get down to London from Birmingham, and I was worried for a second. Blimey, how fast are you going? That man has got some real pace. Turns out he came on the train. Bateson is next to Pieface, 23. Heard a lot about Bateson. He loves his racing. That's really going to help him with the knowledge today, but he is on the pad, Chris. What do you make of this Bateson 87?
An interesting choice, but it comes back down to what you're comfortable and what you're familiar with. One thing you don't want to be doing is giving yourself a further advantage by switching at a very late stage to a control method you're not familiar with. If Bateson had had some time on the wheel, he may well have opted for that. But he's gone for the pad. He's a more sensible move to do that without the practice behind him on a different control scheme. All
right, okay. And if there was an award for best beard, he'd have already won it today. Let's have a look at that all-important grid lineup. What a one-shot quali it was in Heat B. Cambridge's finest and biggest Cambridge United fan, Chesnoid Gaming, is in pole position, closely followed by J Denman 9. In third is Pieface, hoping to get to the top. FIFA Analyst in fourth, Bateson 87 in fifth, AJ3 in sixth, Curb 7th, 8th for FG, and Mr. Invalidator of lap times, Footwiz Dan is in 9th, and gunning from the rear is Lisa Manley in 10th. What a race this is going to be. I'll pass over to the commentators, Chris Buxton and Kieran McGinley.
Thank you, Tom. What a storming lap from Chesnoy, the only man in the 29s. The 5 lights are on. It is time to wind them up and let them go. Who is going to have the greatest start? Storming efforts from the midfield. The McLaren hanging on to the outside line. That's Denham with the inside coming through the turn 1. Oh, that was nearly impact between the two. Still side by side now, coming into the first major braking zone. And it's the Red Bull ahead. Denham has managed to steal away the lead. Analyst is right there in third. Bateson up into fourth, but being challenged by Pieface. Oh, that's a bit wide. That's Pieface. I think it was going a little bit too deep. Coming up towards Aintree, but everyone has survived so far, so good. Side by side, then coming up towards Brooklands for the first time in anger.
Yeah, here comes Dan, then looking to go up the inside of Basin. Then Basin has to go the long way round in towards Brooklands as we size our way up in towards Luffield again. Basin running slightly deep, but he's able to hold the line then. This is for that all-important 5th place there. Denman had a rocket of a start there, getting himself ahead of Chesnoid Gaming then. So that's the leader then. FIFA Analyst in 3rd place then, not too far behind. And then it's this battle here. Pieface has just slightly dropped away from DRS range of FIFA Analyst at the moment, but still plenty of racing to go.
Absolutely, and the fit already a 3-set. That's impressive. Not even halfway through the first lap. Oh, big kick of tail there from Analyst. That's going to drop in quite some way behind Chesnoid and into the arms of Pieface then. Is he going to be able to fend that one off? Look at Analyst. You can see at the top of the shot getting very, very close to Chesnoid as we're now seeing Curbs in the Ferrari who invalidated his lap time. Beg your pardon, he spun. Favourite for the top spot, nudges the back of the Mercedes. Now, as a reminder, the performance of these cars are equal, so no one has a particular advantage. Already a 3-second time penalty for Chesnoid running in second. That could well be very detrimental as this field is quite close. So, judging by the practice times, oh, it's a spun. That's Curbs in the Ferrari again. The tail of the prancing horse has let him down. And so he's gotten back underway, but he's got it all to do if he wants to get into that all-crucial top 5.
Absolutely, heading in towards turns 1 and 2 there. Didn't quite see it just over the crest there, but what we did see is Curbs falling all the way now down to 10th place. So Denman leads then with Chesnoid in 2nd place. Then it's FIFA Analyst in 3rd with Pieface clawing his way back up. He's now within half a second of FIFA Analyst then, so watch out for Pieface as he continues his charge to get back up towards the top end of the field.
Pieface getting very, very close to Analyst. This is a battle for 3rd position. Analyst has fallen outside of DRS race to Chesnoid. No DRS available to the cars just yet, but this is not what Analyst would have wanted. Now, Pieface was who Dirk Chocolate was referencing and who he particularly wanted to beat. So pressure on Pieface to do well, and he's really ready to do battle. Great exit out of Chapel onto hanging straight and screaming down towards Stowe. He's going to be forced to the outside line. Can he hold on? And he does it, sweeps around the outside before they get to the braking spot. Another penalty for Lisa Manley in the second McLaren, a little bit further down the field. But now coming into the club chicane on the nose camera of Pieface. He's really gunning for those top spots. Chesnoid already with that penalty could well hurt. But fastest lap, unsurprisingly, to Pieface. What a storming performance, recovering from not quite so hot start. Now DRS is enabled for our drivers. This is really going to get spicy. Top 4 in very, very short order.
Absolutely, and of course, don't rule out that battle for 5th place either, as Pieface gets right up close and personal with Chesnoid, then heading our way through the loop and then in towards Aintree as we head our way now on towards the Wellington Straight. First opportunity for DRS, and of course Chesnoid ahead of Pieface also has DRS as we make our way up towards Brooklands. Pieface having a little look up the inside, but there wasn't the space or the room to go for the move. Then in towards Luffield we go. FG with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. There is Pieface then as we make our way now onwards towards Copse Corner.
Indeed, the look of concentration on his face, and rightly so. He's doing pretty well then, hanging on to the back of Chesnoid, our pole starter. As I say, the only man under 130 in this lobby, so an excellent qualifying lap for Chesnoid. But it's Denham that had the best start of the field and has got himself only half a second lead though, so that is going to be challenged as we now come back on to the hangar straight once again. Pieface now having to defend against Analysts as they come up towards Stowe. DRS available for the top 3 or 2nd to 4th. Of course, Denman doesn't get it because he's no one directly ahead of him. Wow, what a great fight. And just out the back of the shot you saw, Dan, now in comes Pieface for an early pit stop, getting rid of those soft tyres early. We saw in the first seed the mediums were the favoured race tyre, so a good strategy there without getting too tied up in the battle for 3rd. Pieface has gone for the early pit stop. We'll see if that pays off for him.
Yeah, he's looking for the clear air opportunity, isn't he? Let's see how that goes as FIFA Analyst now makes his way up in towards the first real braking zone of the circuit in towards the loop before we make our way on towards Aintree. And FIFA Analyst just outside of that 1 second bracket. We'll have to wait and see if he gets that DRS down the Wellington straight. Doesn't sound like he did get it as we now make our way up towards Brooklands once again. So Denman leads from Chesnoid, FIFA Analyst in third place. Pieface then will be near the pit lane exit very shortly. In fact, there he goes, rejoining the track then. And, well, he's got a bit of clear air at the very least, so no battling means he's not losing much time, but we'll have to keep an eye on him and see how he gets on.
Absolutely true. Now, as a reminder, everybody will be through the pits at least once in this race. There's no damage to these drivers. They can't damage the car no matter how hard they try, and some people may well be a bit more determined to prove that than others. But we will see as we continue to watch analysts then try and reel in the top two. He's just within a second. I think he won't have had the necessary distance when he was in the DRS detection zone. Chesnoid is chasing off after Denman, closes in but not close enough. Coming into Stowe. Let's see if anybody else follows Pieface's example. Anybody else coming in? Yes, the McLaren of Chesnoid comes in as well. Now, this time we have got a couple of, quote, teammates, of course, people wearing the same colour shirt. Of course, they can't both pit at the same time. Well, they can, but the second one would stack behind the other one, but they are far enough apart. Few people in now. Chesnoid, Bateson and AJ3 all choosing an early pit stop to get onto the medium tyres.
Yep, so having a listen to their engineer as well, who would have kind of got them an ideal strategy, while Curbs is moving up the order after a spin early on, and he was proving to be very, very quick, but he had that spin going in towards Stowe in qualifying that put him all the way down the order. So it's just sort of a Constantina effect, though. It's starting to build up, and well, now he's into the top 5, but he's still yet to stop in this race. So keep an eye on him. He might want to think about extending a stint, perhaps, and seeing if he could run longer into the race. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
We will wait and see indeed. So at the moment, the field a little bit more spread out. There is Denman then, just running his own routine, just hitting, getting into his rhythm, just hitting his marks. A little bit deep there, coming through Cox, but nothing too major. There, you saw at the back of the shot, is Analyst, who again is just running his own rhythm. Look at that steely face. That's almost statue-like in Denman at the moment. Oh, just as I mentioned that, he smiles. So there is emotion going on there. But that's just the face of focus going on there. Oh, now he relaxes because he's on the straight. That makes sense. Fair enough. Okay, back of the shot, you can see that's Denman, Analyst, and Dan in that particular shot. Now, let's see, anybody else going to grace the pit lane at this stage? No, Denman's going to continue. It's risky extending the softer tyres any longer than you really need to, especially with the tanks a little bit heavier. There is FG, the second Red Bull, got his name on the penalty board. Also, bear in mind, some of these drivers, because they're the FIFA crew, we saw the F1 crew earlier on, now this is our FIFA content creators. Some of them have opted to run on a control pad, as we were saying in the pre-race show. So, yeah, that's maybe, we were seeing that FG, you can see, well, one, you can see his hands aren't moving very much in the picture-in-picture because he's on the control pad. But you kind of see that almost digital way the car is moving. That is why, because some of these drivers are running on a pad. And there's a 3-second time penalty for FG, just as we were staring at him. I'll take the commentator curse on that one, my fault. We commentators do have that particular power, as AJ3 now catching up to him with the freshly reshod car just coming up behind. I was wondering if he was trying to let AJ3 through there, as now FG's got a bit of traffic to contend with.
He does indeed, and Curbs has actually just rejoined, and here he is with AJ3 then going through the loop. AJ3 up the inside and does get the move done, and of course Curbs just coming out of the pit lane on colder tyres. AJ3 was always going to have the advantage then. He also has the DRS to try and pull himself away as he makes his way up towards Brooklands once again.
Curbs, we saw, has had incredible pace, just a little bit of consistency trouble so far, but now he's right in the opportunity to try and attack. AJ3, it looks like he's had trouble again because we didn't see him come through the shot, so he may well have had just a bit of a twitch that's slowing him down. In comes Analyst as well from second position, and Chesnoid has extended his penalty count. That is going to hurt because he was really involved in that battle for the top 3. It was very, very close, so that could really bite him a little bit later on. But Denman is continuing to press on those soft tyres. They are going to really struggle now. They won't last long with a full fuel tank or bigger fuel tank. Analyst has gone onto hard tyres. I suspect that's a bit of a mistake. I don't think you would have intended to go for those. It's certainly not the optimum way of doing it, but we will see. May well still hang on to the top 5.
Well, Chris, that's probably why we're shouting at this rather than actually racing it. But maybe FIFA analysts know something that we don't. Meanwhile, then, we see AJ3 make his way through the final quarter onto the Hamilton straight to complete another lap. So Denman leads the way from Dan in second place. Pieface is in third. So that early stop from him has really catapulted him up the order. We've got a yellow flag somewhere out in sector 1. There's Lisa Manley then, who makes her way now down in towards the club corner section coming through Vale. Just put on a set of medium tyres and she rounds her way round the final quarter and onwards towards the Hamilton straight. So, well, I'm impressed with Pieface so far. He's 25.5 seconds off our race leader, and that's going to roughly be that sort of pit stop time. It'd be interesting to see when Denman and Dan do pit, where does that put Pieface?
I reckon it's going to give him the lead because his tyres are going to be very, very fresh and really up to speed by the time he gets through those particular corners. And there comes Denman. So he's had enough of those soft tyres. Is Dan going to follow him through? Yes, he does. So, you know, your question will be answered very, very shortly. I reckon if Pieface has a decent lap this time around, he could well take the lead, but and he will have tyres in optimum operational range. So the tyres would have heated up to the point where they are biting properly. So it's all going to be down to how well Pieface does this particular lap. There's Curbs out on the back of AJ3. So this is a challenge for 6th position. Ferrari on the inside line of Stowe. He made that look very, very simple. I think AJ3, again, you do realistically know, even in an event like this that is mainly for fun, you do realistically know who you're in a battle with, although AJ3 either missed his breaking point or decided to have a big old move on the inside of Club. Fair play, but Curbs held his nerve, held his line. And my prediction was wrong. Pieface has come up behind Denman and AJ3 having another go. Coming up into Abbey. Oh, forces the Ferrari wide onto the grass even. That's going to really upset the Ferrari's manoeuvre right into the first braking zone. Does he get it done through Village? And it's the AJ3 then going to have the inside line of the loop. He's going to try. Oh, and a big snap of oversteer sends him off into the dust. That's a shame. He was having a good old go at trying to keep the Ferrari behind, but it was advantage Stallion on this one.
Absolutely. Curbs then into 6th place now. He's 4.8 seconds behind Bateson. Does he have enough laps on the board to try and close in on that gap? You can see now the tyres are fully now up to temperature. He's got a lot more confidence, a lot more grip in the car. Pieface does jump Chesnoid with that big undercut then, so we'll have to see how he can get on. He's now within DRS range of Denman then, and here comes FIFA analyst who fancy to move up the inside of AJ3, not this time around, but he'll follow him very closely behind, heading through Maggots and Beckett's.
He will indeed. You're not likely to make a move through Maggots and Beckett's. Well, you can try, but it won't tend to go very well. On the exit of Chapel, he's going to have DRS. He hasn't got the tyre advantage this time around though. And yeah, you can see the pace difference coming through Maggots and Beckett's onto the hangar straight. DRS open, too far back, not going to make a move there. But is he going to make a move into the Vale chicane? Let's have a look. Coming down from Stowe. Is he going to banzai it? No, that's gone too much. Tiny bit of a tap there, I think, or certainly a bit of a lock-up from the rear wheels. Caught it well, signed that man up to the cricket team. It was a pretty good catch. But he continues. There is Pieface. He's closing in. He's almost within a second of Denman as they now come through onto the Wellington straight. DRS open for Pieface. He was close enough in the DRS detection zone to Denman. So we have got a real battle for the lead. And if they fight hard enough, it could well bring Chesnoid into play. But Chesnoid is carrying penalties, bear in mind. But also don't count Dan out of it either. He's on soft tyres at this stage, so that's going to be an interesting one to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, it's all going to sort of concentrate at the start and the top of the order, isn't it? That's what it's looking like. Chesnoid, though, has got to put up with that pressure from Dan as we make our way out of Copse and then making our way through Maggots and Beckett's, and of course Dan on those soft tyres, on those softer tyres, will be able to have a little bit more mechanical grip through these medium speed corners, then back onto the power out of Copse, and DRS will be wide open now, and Chesnoid up ahead will not have the DRS. Here comes Dan, then where will he go? He'll go to the right to get to the inside line for Stowe. Up the inside he goes. The McLaren tries to stick it round the outside then. Does Dan get the move done? No, he doesn't. He backs out of it, and Chesnoid able to stay ahead for now. Dan looking for the move down the inside in towards the club corner section. He had the superior grip then. He was able to stop the car quicker with the fresher rubber, with the softer rubber as well, and he's moved himself now up into 3rd place.
That was a fair effort from Chesnoid. It was well defended on the outside of Stowe, which is no easy thing to do, but he's stuck to the back of the Alpine then as they come back towards Village again. The soft shot, I still want to say, Force India with the pink BWT livery on there, but old habits die hard, I suppose. Through Aintree onto the Wellington Straight once again, so Dan should now be able to pull away from Chesnoid, and Chesnoid may have to just concede there that he isn't going to close in or keep up with Dan, but that's not going to stop him from trying. Also, Chesnoid, as mentioned, he's got to build up enough of a gap to stay in the top 5 with the penalties he's carrying. But Curbs, we've seen the pace he can do. Bateson was also one that Tom mentioned as a driver to really keep an eye on. He's 5.5 seconds back at the moment. We'll see how that changes. Looks like Denman is starting to rediscover his pace a bit as he's built a little bit of a lead now to Pieface. 1.8 seconds between the two. But still 3 and a bit laps to go. Anything can happen. And as the late great Murray would say, it usually does.
Yeah, Chesnoid has got to be mindful as well that he's got to try and stay in this DRS zone as much as possible because he's got those penalties on him. If he can work with Dan here to try and use that DRS as we cut to FIFA Analyst, who is right on the back of AJ3, but we've just seen him go wildly off through Maggots and Beckett's then through Chapel and then onto the Hangar Straight as we make our way towards Stowe. That's a bit of a battle for 7th place at the moment, both drivers making their way through Stowe. But yeah, if Chesnoid can keep within DRS range of Dan, maybe not necessarily battle him, but if he can pull himself further and further away, because it's got even worse now, that's another time penalty for him.
I've lost count how many he's had, admittedly, so that's really going to hurt. Yeah, drivers working together, Kieran, we've been in this game long enough to know better, don't we? You're absolutely right, that would be Chesnoid's better option, but it may also be just the raw pace that Dan is showing that Chesnoid can't. Chesnoid is on older, harder tyres. Dan, with those soft tyres, will be able to get those to last quite comfortably to the end. Dan doesn't have to do any tyre saving or any such things, so he can just press on. So Chesnoid is doing a good job of hanging on to the DRS range of Dan, in fairness, as we continue to look at this battle between AJ3 and Analyst. Those hard tyres are doing Analyst no favours whatsoever. That's what caused him to get a big moment of understeer coming out of Beckett. But he is doing a great job of hanging on to the back of AJ3, who in turn is doing a pretty good job of defending from the Aston Martin behind. So great battle here. Whilst this may not be for qualifying positions, they're still having a great old time up there.
They're having a brilliant time, and we're having a brilliant time watching. Here comes FIFA Analyst here. He looked up the inside in towards Maggots there, and I'm so glad he backed out of it. In through Beckett's we go before we make our way through in towards Chapel. Bit of a snap of oversteer, but with that DRS, we'll be able to be in the slipstream, of course, get a little bit of a higher top speed as we make our way then down towards Stowe. I think it's going to be close enough this time to the back of AJ3, making our way through Stowe, back onto power, up the gears as we make our way through in towards Vale and towards the club corner section. And FIFA Analyst is all over the back of AJ3. He just can't get the move done just yet.
If he was on softer tyres, he probably would have enjoyed this a bit more, as AJ3 adds another 3 seconds to his penalty count. So the 7th position will go to Analyst anyway, but sadly no more than that. Curbs is very close to Baton, and there it is, just as I mentioned it, they cut to it, the Ferrari on the back of the Mercedes. Oh my goodness, as Baton nearly pushes the Ferrari onto the grass, and this is the last qualifying position, so this is a very, very important battle between the two as Baton tries to ride the curve on the inside of Brooklands, strike on the inside line of the Ferrari, nudges him through Luffield. That's not how it's done, but a wonderful battle here. Oh, this is crucial. Again, the pressure is really on. I was hoping he wasn't going to try and banzai that on the inside of Cox. And Pieface is added to his penalty count now, so that's not going to hurt him too much considering where he is in relation to everyone else. But this battle, can Baton hang on to the back of Curbs? We will see. Just can Curbs keep the car under control? And again, this could well come down to penalties like everybody else, as one small mistake is all it needs. And what on earth? I wonder where Curbs was going for a second there. I think he was thinking about defending fresh air, but Bateson has closed back in and then using DRS on the nose now. Other Ferrari coming down toward the club chicane. Now, he's going to be able to defend that. He's got one more lap to fend off the advances of the Mercedes.
Absolutely. These guys are just leaving it out all on the track then, crossing the line to start their final lap. Meanwhile, Denman is in the lead by about 2 seconds, plus Pieface's penalty as well. Dan in 3rd place with Chesnoid in 4th. Now, Chesnoy has those penalties. This battling could actually harm one of them if they work together. There's, again, work together, such a phrase that we don't often get to use, but you know, with those penalties for Chesnoy, both of these drivers could go through still. We'll just have to wait till the checkered flag falls and the time ticks over. Those penalties do get applied.
Absolutely so. So it is most certainly worth Bateson pressing on. Yellow in sector 1. It could be, I suspect that's AJ3 that may well have had a trouble there because he's suddenly changed position with Analyst. We will see. There is our race leader coming through. Mackers and Beckett's now not under immediate pressure from Pieface. Still 1.6 between the two. AJ3 and now Analyst still having an argument for 7th position, as they have been all race long. There is the Red Bull then looking to take the victory in this second heat for the FIFA content creators, coming up to Stowe for the final time in this round. As a reminder, it is the top 5, once all the penalties are played out, that will join the top 5 from the first heat. Into Club for the final time in this race. Your winner for Heat B of this event, it is J Denman 9 in the Red Bull. Very nicely done. Pieface crosses the line right behind him. We'll see how the rest of the penalties play out as to who joins them in the top 5.
Bosh, says Denman, and job well done. Absolutely brilliant drive from Denman. Got the start absolutely spot on, and the rest from then on was really plain sailing for him.
Absolutely, and there it is, look, by half a second, not even that. Chesnoy is out of the, from starting from pole as well, by half a second due to penalties. Chesnoy will not be continuing, so Kurtz and Bateson did indeed make it through. That's how close it was. What an incredible race that we've enjoyed for Heat B. Over to Tom Deacon to have a chat with the drivers.
Well, a man that loves a penalty, literally in FIFA, is Bateson. Bateson, you are going through to the grand final because of a penalty. You see what I did there?
It's down to good driving and, and literally no penalties, unlike some people at Ches.
Yeah, he's not happy it's Chesnoy down there. But, Bateson, it was touch and go. You might not be making it, and then all of a sudden, you're there. How does it feel?
Yeah, well, straight away, Pieface come up behind me, straight in the back, and he's repeatedly shouting sorry repeatedly, so that was fair enough. And then I had Curbs shouting Bateson. He ruined his race, but I was just laughing all the way throughout it. And then I realised on the final lap that, yeah, I might be scraping in 5th, and I've done it. Yeah, you've done it. What do you feel in terms of your chances go the grand final time? Anything higher than 10th, and I'm happy. All right. Follow me as we go chat to Pieface. Pieface, a little bit of scandal there. Bateson saying that you sort of rear-ended him in the race. What happened?
We'll call it an aggressive overtake. I know what Mr. Bates is like on the track, and I thought I don't want to be stuck behind him, so I'll just try and slip through. He's better weaving. He's, you know, takes one to know one from Mr. Bateson.
But I feel like it was a very strong competitive field out there going through to the final. Dirk Chocolate's already mentioned he wants to beat you. Has he got a target on his back?
He's probably going to have me. I've gone for the wheel to mix up a bit. He's a lot quicker. He's a sweat. So I think, yeah, he said it himself. He said it himself. He's a sweat. So, but I'll give it a good go. I mean, I'm expecting, if I don't come last, I think it's a bonus in the final race.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, it's definitely going to be a bonus for you. But I'll let you prepare for this. Let's just confirm the results. And those results are J Denman 9 is your winner. Footwiz Dan. He said he was fairly confident going into this one. Well, he's finished second. Pieface 23. Some aggressive overtaking Curbs in 4th, battling with Bateson 87. He is going through to the grand final after those penalties to a very despondent, angry, sad. He's crying now. Chesnoy Gaming. And commiserations to the rest of the drivers. But we have our top 5. And right now I can welcome all the way over here is J Denman 9, your champion. Oh, fantastic race. I'm going to give you that microphone. J Denman, what does it feel like to be your Heat B winner?
It's feeling good, man. I didn't really think I had a chance when coming into this because I know there's a lot of good races on that. But, yeah, it's feeling good. I have to give a massive shout-out to my teammate who was in the other Red Bull who finished 10th. So without him, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Oh, good. Well, and also, Footwiz Dan said to me, well, J Denman's one of my content creators and he finished second. So you have a target on your back, let me tell you that. But what was it like challenging everyone today?
Well, it's fair. If Dan got in front of me, I'd have probably wiped him out, if I'm honest with you. But, no, it was good. It was good racing with everyone, to be honest. It was good fun. Like I said, I didn't expect to win. To be fair, I stayed on the softs for quite a bit of time. But I just saw the people behind me. I was kind of like matching their time, so I thought, you know, I'd leave it and then just pit late, just so I kind of didn't get involved in like all the trouble and stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of trouble. Like Curbs was getting in a battle with Bateson. Chris, what did you like about Jay Denman's performance today?
I mean, you had an absolutely storming start. That was impressive. But your consistency was absolutely on point, and there was less expectation on the FIFA guys, and you showed it how it's done. So spot on.
Well, my legs started shaking. I was just sat there towards like the last like 3 laps. I see Pi chasing up on me, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna bottle it here. And then I see him get a penalty, so my legs stopped shaking.
So what have you learned from that? I suppose Chris is talking about your consistency, being key, and just being calm. Is that what you're going to take through to the final?
Yeah, I guess everybody's going to want to hear me say, like, I want to go and win it. Obviously, I do, but...
We just heard it.
Yeah, look, I'd be content with even, like, a top 4, top 3 or something, because I've won this race. Now, this was one which counted against all the other FIFA like, content creators and stuff, so that was one which meant the most. And this one, I'm just going to go into, have a bit of fun with it, and see how high we can get.
I like that. I like that as your perspective. The grand final is the grand final, but you've already beaten all of your peers.
Exactly.
So it's already a win. Well, once again, Jay Denman 9 is your winner for Heat B. We head on to the grand final now. For what we are calling the spicy grand final, this is your grid based on the Heat A and Heat B results. We start with the FIFA crew. Jay Denman in pole position, second foot with Daz. Pie Face 23 is in third, fourth is Curbs, and 5 is Bateson 87. And leading the F1 crew is Hayden Gullis. In seventh, team at Marduk. UK 8, Matt 212, Gloucester's finest. In ninth, it's Alex Gillen. And in 10th, giving it the full send towards Pie Face 23 is Dirk Chocolate. Well, that completes your grid. I'll now pass over to, and for the final time, our commentators Chris Buxton and Kieran McGinley.
Thank you, Tom. 2 races down and 1 to go. For the final time this evening, it is time to wind them up and let them go. Can the FIFA guys keep the F1 guys behind as we scream towards turn 1 for the first time in anger? And it looks so far so good. Doesn't look like we have any spinners. Denman hanging on to the top with that's Dan and Pieface having an argument. Whoa, that's the Mercedes, that's Bateson. You can't gain positions like that, sir. But Hayden Gullis was having trouble. He's at the back end of the F1 crew, but Bateson has got that one absolutely wrong. Side by side, Tim and Marduk now leading the F1 crew, having an argument with Pieface, trying to get involved inside the top, and that is fourth for the McLaren. Oh no, that's the Alpine that's come together with the Williams. Oh my goodness me, Dan and Curbs having an argument. Jay Denham again is running off into the distance, so a bit of a disaster for 2, but the rest are now fighting for the rest.
A hectic opening lap, and it's going to see Dan and Curbs go side by side through Cop's corner then, and Curbs having to go the long way round. He has to go off the track, rejoins it now, and still they run side by side as they make their way in towards Maggots for the first time, and it's just allowing Denman to extend that gap even more at the top. 1.4 is the gap. Tim Marduk also had a great start. He's now up into 4th place. He's now got a front row seat for this battle for second place between Dan and Curbs. He might want to just hold back just for a little bit, see how that battle plays out. But he's got Pieface and Alex Gillen right behind him as well. Dirk Chocolate also getting a good start. He's now up into 7th place.
He had a storming start in the first race, and he's having to go with Gillen as well in the Ferrari. There is Marduk coming through Vale, and he's on the back of Curbs now. So Dan has got himself a little bit of breathing space, but he's now chasing off after Denman. Dirk Chocolate now up into 6th. Or is he managed to get the move done still side by side before they get down to what Abby? Yes, Dirk Chocolate's got it done. Very nice move indeed. And Alex can still got it all to do. Matt 212 now having an argument with him. As still everybody very, very close together. Hayden Gullis has now got the back of the pack. Unfortunately, Bateson has had a bit more trouble trying to catch up with the field, and Dan is closing in that gap towards Denman. So we have got a real fight for every position going as the Red Bull then. Matt 212 goes on the inside line and has to avoid the Alpha Tauri of Dirk Chocolate. Dirk was minding his own business, keeping an eye on Pieface, but then Gillen and Matt 212 almost ran into the back of him. So they had to take avoiding action coming through Brooklands. On board now with Matt 212 in the Red Bull, still chasing Gillen, coming through Cops, heading towards Maggins and Beckett. My goodness me, action from all the way through the field.
From all angles as well, as we ride on board now with Matt 212 as we now tackle our way through Beckett then in towards Chapel as Alex Gillen runs slightly onto the grass. No DRS, of course, at this early stage. Meanwhile, up ahead, Tiamat Marduk is trying to get ahead of Curbs for third place. I think he has done. He's tucked back onto the racing line and in towards Stowe he goes. He now moves up into third place. And meanwhile, then Matt 212. Again, Alex Gillen runs a little bit wide. He's struggling at the moment. And Matt 212 trying to get the move done, runs a little bit too deep in towards the club corner section. But Pieface has found all sorts of trouble. He's now on the outside going through the final corner. He's trying to find his way back onto the track, but he's now down to 7th place.
2 by 2 coming down into Abbey for the third time. DRS now available. Dark Chocolate is up to 4th. Stunning under. Curbs is in trouble. He's having an argument 4 wide coming through the first way to make his own. Oh no, the Red Bull touches with the AlphaTauri. That is not good. Matt spins Curbs around as now penalties starting to come under the board. Down to the first one there, side by side. There's Alex Gillen and Dark Chocolate and are having an argument now for 4th position, coming down towards Brooklands again. What a fantastic effort. See, Dark Chocolate started last and he is now arguing for 4th. Brilliant effort, and right behind him, Pieface, Gullis and Matt 212 all ready to do battle in the mixture.
Absolutely, and of course you'll see those tyre differences as well. Pieface on the softer tyres as we now make our way up in towards Copse Corner. There you can see Dark Chocolate, he is determined to try and keep Pieface behind him. Now that rivalry will be carrying its way through in towards the race now, in towards Maggots and Beckett's then. DRS will be online now, so this is a perfect opportunity for Dark Chocolate if he can try and get the car turned in. He lost a bit of time, especially through the last part of Beckett's there. Now with the DRS, and here comes Hayden Gullis then, who had an awful start. He's now making his way up the order. He's now up into 6th place.
He's a winner. He's now up into 6th position with Dark Chocolate directly ahead. Marduk has got the inside line, or he's trying to, on Dan, so they're having an argument for... Oh no, the McLaren's gone round, so Tim and Marduk spun. Oh my goodness me, for challenging for 2nd, now finds himself down in 7th place. That is never ideal, but this battle, look at this. So Dark Chocolate's lost the back of Alex Gillen. There's the Ferrari going out of the shot. So this is a 3-way fight now for 4th place.
Absolutely. It's just tantalising, this battle at the moment. Dark Chocolate now having to defend from Hayden Gullis. Pieface also fancies this bit of the action as he makes his way now through in towards Aintree, now onto the Wellington Straight, and Dan is just trying to get ever closer to Denman up ahead. He's just over that 1-second bubble for the DRS. Alex Gillen, meanwhile, is trying to reel in Dan, and just under that 1-second barrier for DRS as we make our way out of Luffield.
Absolutely, yeah. Pieface staying in the tyre tracks of Hayden Gullis. Has he burned the best out of those tyres? Are they a little bit too cooked? Bearing in mind that Pieface is on the softer tyre, Gullis on the medium, same with Dark Chocolate as well. So there will be a bit of a performance difference between them, and no one seems to have told Dark Chocolate that. He's having a storming effort, and so is Gullis as well. So, you know, from starting... having a half-decent start, then spinning, and now back up into 5th position. But there's Gillen now having an argument for 2nd place from Dan, and absolutely leaves him standing. That is the power of the DRS down the hanger straight. That's now the Ferrari aiming for the top spot. Now, bearing in mind that Alex was demoted positions in he won due to penalties. Can he keep it safe? Who was that flying into the pits? Didn't quite see who that was. It's Dark Chocolate. Oh no, that's never what you want to see. That's going to be very, very hard to overcome. Well, at least he's having a laugh about it. This is what this event is about. Oh dear, is another penalty there between Dark Chocolate and Pieface, I think it was.
I think that was a drive-through there awarded to Pieface, as much as I could see there, with a collision with Dark Chocolate. They've boiled their rivalry over into the pit lane.
Somewhat, yes. So is that now going to become a Dark Chocolate pie, I wonder, is what's going to go on there. But either way, let's look towards the front then, as Alex Gillen is now eyeing up the lead. Can Denman defend? It's Red Bull against Ferrari. We've seen that once or twice in the F1 season. Not too far back is Dan, and Pieface and Dark Chocolate eyeing the bits. Pieface has come out ahead of Dark, but of course are on the opposite tyres to one another now. Now, what can Alex do here? Look at the defensive line that Denman goes for. On the inside line of Copse, keeps it nice and steady. Oh, a little bit wide there, but I would imagine he probably got away with that one. And Gillen can't do anything there. I'd say that, and he has a look on the inside on the exit of Maggots. That's very, very brave. He didn't commit to that one, but he's now going to get DRS off the back of the Red Bull, and through he goes. There's not a lot left in those tyres. As good a job as Denman's done, there's no way he could defend against that. Alex Gillen now up into the lead.
Yeah, Alex has been just making sure he keeps himself to himself, staying out of trouble and just getting those positions one by one. It's Alex Gillen who leads the way as we see someone just in the background coming into the pit lane. Hayden Gullis makes his way into the pits then as Matt 212 has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that's going to be added to the end of his race. So Gillen leads then. And well, now what? Does he try and extend this stint? Maybe he goes for the soft tyres earlier than it predicted. Well, in any case, he now leads the race and he's just going to try and make the use of this clear hair ahead of him.
Absolutely. Bateson and Curbs also in the pits then, so most of the pit stops now being served to get those tyres changed. Alex Gillen with just over a second between himself and Denman, so he's broken the DRS range to that soft shod Red Bull. I would imagine that Denman's probably got nothing left in the tyres to be able to defend. Dan is right with him as well. Coming out of the pits then, that is Hayden Gullis in the Aston Martin. Now soft shod and ready to go. So he's got 23 seconds. We saw it was around about 25-ish. Probably a bit less than that. That was the pit lane loss last time around. I thought it was about 25 and a half, but I think it was a bit less than that in the end. So Hayden Gullis is in a real prime position to make it 2 for 2.
Absolutely. Well, he's got to try and get the pace on, try and use that clear air to his advantage as Matt has got himself another penalty to add to the end of his race. There's Dan now making his way onto the back of Denman. Now, he's got some DRS. He could try and close in the gap on Denman for a battle for second place as they both now make their way through in towards Stowe. I wonder, though, these two will not be too far away from pitting in. And just as I say that, no, Dan stays out. Denman comes into the pit. So, too, does our leader, Alex Gillen.
And another penalty for Dirk Joggler. He's making his rival with Pieface as difficult as he can make it for himself. So Gillen, Denman and Tim Murdoch all coming in now. So Dan is the only one that has not come in to change his tyres. He's gone on another lap. Well, fair enough. He knows what those tyres feel like. He's now coming through Stowe. So is he going to come in this time? Oh, he's running long on the softs. As I said last time around, I'm not convinced that's the right way to go. But then, oh, big slide, just as I mentioned, longevity of tyres. And, we see, that's Hayden Gullis, beg your pardon, demonstrating that you need some light to work those tyres a little bit harder. On board now with Denman, out in second position, 26 seconds between himself and Dan. Dan could retain the lead here.
Denman's actually got back ahead of Alex Gillen coming out of the pit lane, and there is Gullis then on the outside of Alex Gillen then, and he does make the move stick then, and the colder tyres coming out of the pit lane. Hayden Gullis has got past Alex Gillen as he makes his way down the Wellington Straight and could go for 2 here. He wants to move up the inside of Jay Denman then in towards Brooklands. He's only gone and done it. Fantastic move from Hayden Gullis. He has got himself back up the order. Alex Gillen, meanwhile, looking up the inside of Jay Denman now as we make our way through Woodcote and now up towards Cops, and Alex Gillen looks like he's got that move done on the softer tyres. Denman then is not going to let him go anywhere.
Truth alive, what a great scrabble that is. And Dirk Chocolate is not far behind. You can just see him at the back of the shot. So, yeah, great move there from Hayden Gullis. He's gunning for that top spot, but he is going to have to do it on track. Dan yet to pit. He's going to come out on the medium tyres. He's going to find that defence very, very difficult, I would think. Now, Alex Gillen wants to remain, I should say, within DRS range. He's only just hanging on to it, and he wants to try and break that DRS range back to Denman. Now, Denman is on the harder tyres. I would imagine he's going to struggle to maintain the pace of the top two. As brilliantly as he's done to maintain this kind of pace so far, it's very much advantage Gullis and Gillen at the moment.
Yeah, Denman as well on the medium tyres, so he's on the harder compound of tyres at this stage in the race. So it's obviously the tyres will stay fine till the end of the race. Unfortunately, he won't have the pace that the two ahead of him can put on their softer tyres. Meanwhile, Dirk Chocolate just 1.6 behind here. Matt Murdoch battling away with Matt 212 for 6th place in the standings as well. Pieface has dropped down the order. Presumably, he served his drive-through penalty now. But Dan's still leading the way, extending that stint. I mean, we have to say it, Dan is leading this race.
Yeah, absolutely is. But that gap is disintegrating. It's coming down at a hell of a rate of knots. He's got to get in and get rid of those tyres if he wants any opportunity to fight for the top positions. At the moment, I would say it is advantage Gullis, but with Gillen on his tail, that is going to be a difficult battle for him to win. Curbs and Bateson having an argument for 8th position. Pieface is closing in on that particular battle. There's going to be a bit of wooden spoon avoidance at the tail end of the field if Pieface can overhaul that 11-second gap, but with only a handful of laps left, that is going to be a difficult gap to overcome with the remaining time. There is Himit Marduk in the picture-in-picture, so fighting away in the McLaren. We saw that big spin he had, challenging for second. He's on the hard tyres as well, an unusual choice. But either way, he's pressing on, still challenging Matt 2-1-2. There is Gillen and Gullis again, resuming their battle for second position. Denman has got himself a penalty, so the top three yet to get their names on the penalty board. And it could well, as we've seen repeatedly, come down to what the penalty count is. Dan is coming out of the pits. I think he's going to lose that. There goes Gullis, there goes Gillen. So Dan left that one a little bit too long if he wanted to retain the top spot. Denman is now through into the podium positions.
And Dark Chocolate as well now up the order. Dan's rejoined in 5th place. Now he will have slightly colder tyres, so they'll take a couple of corners to properly warm up. So he might be slightly vulnerable to the likes of Matt 2-1-2 in the middle stage of the lap. But Hayden Gullis leads from Alex Gillen, but Gillen is only 6/10 behind and closing with the help of DRS. Well, we've got 5 laps to go. Forward a bit if you're picky. And, well, Hayden Gullis versus Alex Gillen. Bring it on.
Bring it on indeed. And you can't say that it's just the F1 guys running away with it. Of course, Denman, winner of the FIFA Content Creators Group, he's in 3rd with Dirk Toddler right behind. Then you got Dan, the second of the FIFA guys, in 5th position. So you still got 2 representatives from that contingent in the top 5. So doing a stunning job to represent that particular community in this event. Now, of course, the expectation was always on the F1 guys to do a bit better, or it was hinted that the FIFA guys maybe had a bit of a disadvantage. Some of them are running on control pads as well, and they are doing a storming effort. Himit Marduk, as with penalty count again, Gillen had a look on the inside line, coming up towards Stowe, and Gullis saw that one coming. Oh yes, it's a battle for the G's up top.
Absolutely. What a way to close out today's proceedings with a great battle for the lead of the race as they make their way around the final corner. 4 laps to go. Gullis leads Gillen with Jay Denman in 3rd place. Dirk Chocolate is trying to eye up that podium position as well after the tough race he has had. But you can see those wall of penalties you can almost see from 3rd down to 8th. At least a 3-second penalty on the time board. We'll have to let the timings sort themselves out at the end of the race. Meanwhile, Gillen then right on the back of Gullis as we make our way through Aintree and on towards the Wellington Straight. Gillen will have a little bit of DRS to bring him closer as they make their way up towards Brooklands, but he might not try the move this time around. Pieface getting a 3-second time penalty. What will Gillen do? Will he try a different move, I should say, in towards Luffield, both taking a similar line as they put the power down and make their way in towards Woodcote.
Gullis is not cracking at the moment. He's keeping the attentions of the Ferrari still at bay through Copse towards Maggots and Beckett. Now we saw Gillen have a look on the inside line coming up towards Maggots a few laps ago, and he opts not to go for it this time. Backwards camera from the leading Aston Martin, and you can just see that Ferrari is trying everything he can. I suspect he probably disadvantaged himself. Yes, he did. Look at the momentum that Alex Gillen lost. Picture in picture. Gullis at the top of the pictures and then Gillen at the bottom. Now the Ferrari will of course close that gap back down due to the DRS, but if he hadn't have lost that momentum coming out of Chapel, he could well have challenged for that top spot. Still some laps to go, but Gullis doing everything he can to keep Gillen at bay.
Yeah, I wonder if Gillen's just waiting to the last possible moment, going down in towards Stowe. Maybe he's just holding back just this second. I mean, I'd love to be proved wrong. I'm proven wrong quite a lot, but at the moment, it just seems like Alex is very comfortable with staying behind Hayden for now and just waiting for that last possible moment with some DRS down in towards Stowe to try and make this move stick. In they go through the loop, back onto the power as we make our way then through Aintree and then onwards then to the Wellington Straight. A little bit of DRS again for Alex Gillen. Dirk Chocolate, meanwhile, has 8 seconds worth of penalty. Jay Denman only has 3. So even if Dirk Chocolate finds his way past, he's then got to try and find 5 seconds, has Dirk, to try and claim that 3rd place spot. So it really is advantage Denman in these closing stages for a podium spot.
And again, he just has to do exactly what he did in the second heat. Just has to stay consistent and keep to his lines. And that's exactly what he did. That what won him the Heat B for the FIFA guys. And it's what built up that lead early on. Even if Dirk Chocolate gets past, there's no, he just has to keep consistent as Gillen again taps the back of Gullis. goodness me, the Ferrari is certainly getting impatient behind the Aston Martin. Is he going to have a look on the inside line coming up towards Stowe? Gullis defends that inside line, does not give the Stallion that opportunity. And Gullis is remaining in the lead now, down towards Vale. Is Gillen going to bounce on the inside? There he goes. Can he slow that one down? Very deep. Can he hold it? No, Gullis has managed to fend off the advances of the Ferrari. Fantastic stuff. Both of them smiling, having a great time. 2 laps remaining. Oh my goodness me. I'm doing the Christian Horner feet waggling here, but
you are.
This is have excitement rather than nerves. This is absolutely fantastic fighting. So battle for the lead going on. Also the battle for third. Dirk Chocolate is now ahead of Jay Demmer, but Matt 2-1-2 was right in that mixture.
Absolutely. What a closing stage we've got here. Gullis doing exactly what he needed to do to keep ahead of Alex Gillen with the wry smile down the Hamilton straight as both our leaders then make their way through in towards Brooklands, now tackling in towards Luffield, and Alex Gillen trying to manoeuvre a move up the inside. Back onto the power they both go. The Ferrari's got the inside line as we head our way through Woodcote and now up towards Copse, and Alex Gillen has the lead, but they are going to run side by side as they head their way through Copse. Gullis has to back out of that one. Gillen takes over the lead of this race, but now Gullis will have the DRS going down in towards Stowe. It could even be decided earlier than that as they make their way through Maggots and Beck. It's all about taking the perfect line going through here. Gullis sacrificing the early part of the chicanes to make sure he gets the better run through Chapel with the DRS.
Oh, game on between the G's. Gillen now forcing his way past the Aston Martin and Hayden Gullis then. I don't reckon he was interested in making the move at that time. Matt 2-1-2 now up into 4th place and then going up straight after Dirk Chocolate. Curves has his name to the penalty board. Only the top 2 without a penalty at this stage. If either one of them get a penalty, it's game over between those two. So Matt 2-1-2 and Dirk Chocolate are now arguing for 3rd place, and both of them with an 8-second penalty. And Jay Denman is still in that mixture, so Jay Denman could still come away with 3rd. But we are still focusing on the lead battle. Gillen versus Gullis. Now the Ferrari having to play the defensive. It does look like Alex Gillen has had the small pace advantage, and that's nearly 8/10 between Gillen and Gullis as they come down the Wellington Straight.
Well, you see, Hayden Gullis hasn't got a lot of ERS to use. It's less than 10% when he was going down the straight. This is where Alex Gillen can try and pull away now as they head their way in through Luffield. Back onto the power they will go, and Gillen is now just trying to make sure he pulls away, try and just get the gap as big as possible, and maybe even try and get out of the DRS zone. It's 8/10 of a second as Gillen then rounds his way through Copse for the final time. Gullis trying to follow through. Gap is just over 8/10 of a second. When they get towards that detection line, I think Gullis will have the DRS, but will he have the momentum on his side?
That's the big question. Dirk Chocolate very much drops himself out of that particular battle now, making his penalty count 11. And Hayden Gullis is too far back. He's not going to be able to make 8/10 up just on the hanger straight. As you can see there, he'll close up to around about half a second. Not even that, just 2/10 he gained on that back straight. So it does look like it's going to be advantage Alex Gillen on this occasion. Round the Vale for the final time. Through Club, your winner for the grand final of this event is the Ferrari. It is Alex Gillen, chased home by Hayden Gullis. What a fantastic scrap for the top spot. Take a bow. Yeah, you both deserve to be happy about that one. Worked hard and well done. There's Matt 2-1-2 that has also finished the race. What an event. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Donuts by Dirk Chocolate as well. He hasn't actually crossed the line yet. But he'll cross the line eventually. So Jay Denman was indeed through to 3rd on penalties. So that's what we thought would happen. Unserved penalty for Dirk Chocolate. Absolutely. My goodness me, what a way to see out the event. So for the final time, let's throw back to Tom Deacon for those all-important results.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Kieran. And what a race it was. It had a bit of everything. It definitely had a penalty or two. So I can confirm now, your champ, Alex Gillen in 1st place, Hayden Gullis in 2nd, Jay Demon 9, completing the 1-2-3 podium. Footwiz Dan in 4th, Team Marduk in 5th, Matt 2-1-2 in 6th, Curbs in 7th, Bates in 8-7 in 8th. All-important battle, the real battle. Dirk Chocolate versus Pieface. Dirk Chocolate is your winner, but I can confirm the grand champion of the F1 2022 launch is Alex Gillen! My man, Alex, I'm going to give you that microphone. Congratulations, a champion. You leave here today as a champion. What does it feel like?
Awesome. I mean, yeah, didn't expect it, to be fair, after that first race. Leading, bit of a bottle job. I was thinking, oh no. But I've got to give a shout out to Hayden, to be fair. Not only was it a good battle, I was in his rig from the first race. He's got all kinds of settings on there. Genuinely amazing. So shout out to Hayden for that.
Yeah, you can, obviously, all of the F1 content creators, you find a little tweak here or there that definitely needed to be tweeted about. But he was a little bit, it was a Hayden versus Gillen, it was the Gullis versus Gillen battle. You came out on top. Does that mean you've got bragging rights from here on in?
I think it does. Until the next time, I suppose, Hayden. We'll probably have to have a rematch at some point. But yeah, I'll take it.
And what does it feel like today, getting on the new F1 2022 game, to be with everyone today? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah, I genuinely really love the new game. It's so challenging, you know, with all assists off, genuinely really easy to spin. And I almost did at one point in that race, chasing down Hayden, almost lost it. I was like, oh, that was a close one, but I survived.
Well, I'm glad, because it was a very spicy race. Do you think the shorts helped you today, Alex Gillen?
They did, yeah. Spending too much time in my rig, it gets so hot. So I was like, I'm not wearing trousers today. I'll be sweating like mad. So yeah, they did.
And of course, I mentioned it just a second ago, the real battle that we built up was Dirk Chocolate versus Pieface. Did you see much of them? They were in the rear view a lot.
I didn't. I did have to get past Pie, though. He was putting up some pretty strong defensive moves. So I had to try really hard to get past him. But no, I didn't see much of their battle, unfortunately. It was a good one. Yeah? All good.
Chris, Kieran, I want to get your take on that final. Deserving champion, Chris?
Very much so. I mean, as you said before, that Hayden was a very, very difficult opponent to get past, of course, winning the first heat. When you made the move you did on the penultimate lap, did it feel like it was a little bit early? I did wonder whether you were then going to be susceptible to a counter-attack. Did that run through your mind?
Definitely. I was really worried about that. I had a little bit of ERS left to use, but I was wary of burning it all, and then he still takes his DRS and gets me anyway on the last lap. I was definitely still worried about him. It was not done and dusted at that point, so I had to make sure I stayed on it. It looked like I had a bit better pace. I pitted one lap later, slightly fresher tyres. I think that definitely helped. But yeah, he stayed in DRS range till the very end, though. I could never relax at any point, but managed to stay ahead.
It's great to see, Kieran, a little bit of a collision in the pit lane as well. But Charlie, it's nice to see all the smiles. We're seeing a lot of penalties. What did you make from that race, Kieran?
I mean, I was just going to say that move there, this was a defining point in this battle. I mean, talk us through that, Alex.
Yeah, really spicy, really fun race. You can see my face there. That was the point where I almost lost it. You can see on my face. Honestly, I thought I was gone then. As I said, traction's really difficult in this year's game. So if you lose it, it's really hard to get it back. You've got to be absolutely on it, and I managed it. So yeah, really close stuff. Genuinely, really good racing, I think, between us. There's a few bits of collisions here and there, but I think for the most part, all was fair. Although I have to apologise for the first lap. I did spin Hayden around on the first lap. I just didn't brake hard enough, I'll be honest. I just spun it around. I was like, oops, sorry, but it's what it is.
All I can hear in my ears now, you spin me right round, playing in my ears right now. Would you be a little bit annoyed if you were Hayden, Kieran, in that race? I mean, he was, valiant to finish second, but first loser of the race.
Well, I mean, that's a bit harsh, but no, they both put on a fantastic display. Great battle, and what a way to bring in F1 22.
Oh, perfect way. Well, listen, Chris, Kieran, once again, massive congratulations to your champion of F1 2022. It's Alex Gillen. There you go. Well, there you go. That's it from us. Thank you so much for watching, for everybody that has taken part as well. It's been a brilliant day. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you get the game and try it out for yourself. But that's it from me, from Alex, from everyone here. Thank you very much. Take a lovely evening.